What's up, Havelock? Welcome back to another podcast. It is October. We got some Halloween decoration here. We also have a Jason and a Freddy in the house. Today we got I'm going to say we have two special guests, even though the special guest is really Freddy. No offense.
No, I understand.
But we also have Officer Brown, who a lot of you have seen around town a good bit. Matter of fact, if you were a National Night Out just a couple days ago, you saw him and Freddy doing demonstrations out there. Today we're going to talk about Halloween, and we're going to talk about canine police work and how we got there. So let's start with Halloween. What's your favorite Halloween movie?
So I don't know if it's a Halloween movie or if it's a Christmas movie, but I really like Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay,
but I don't know if that's Halloween or if that's supposed to be Christmas. Me and my daughter actually had this conversation just last night, so that's why it really sticks in my head.
All right,
because she's like, I like Nightmare Before Christmas. I think it's supposed to be a Christmas movie, but I like watching it.
But it is spooky, man. So I say, I think it works.
I think so. I could watch it at Christmas too. So it's a good movie.
I think there are people that watch that all year, man. That's like
I watch it all year because my daughter is in the phase where she'll focus on a movie and then we'll watch it and then watch it and then we'll watch it.
All right, man. So let's start with how long you've been at Havelock. You came to Havelock
6 months ago, and
this is unique, citizens. If you don't know, so we do have another canine dog, Rowan, and and Rowan has been here for I guess probably close to 2 years now. But you and Freddy just came to us, but it was unique because Freddy is actually your dog.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yeah.
Where Rowan is a City of Havelock asset that any officer could control or maintain or manage. So how did you get to the point in your life that you have your own police work dog and then want to join an organization like ours and bring that as an asset?
Well, so I fell in love with canine handling when I worked at Craven County Sheriff's Office. When I got into law enforcement, I got into law enforcement later in my life. So I was in my 30s when I got into law enforcement, and I always thought that canine was cool and it was interesting. I think most people that are in law enforcement do, but it wasn't the path that I thought I was going to be on. And when I worked for Craven County, we had an incident that happened up near Vanceboro, and we called out one of the canines, and I was a backup officer, and we tracked the gentleman through the swamp, and it was, for me at that point in my career, it was the most fun I had ever had in law enforcement. We tracked him through a swamp. It was like something out of a fugitive movie, and we ended up forcing him out onto a field on the other side, and other deputies that were on perimeter had caught him, and from that point I was hooked. It was literally, I talked to the Sergeant Craven about it, where canine is a switch inside you that flips and you can't shut it off. And I became obsessed with it. And so I had my first dog at Craven County, which his name was Elliot, and he was a very good dog, and I enjoyed it and really fell in love with training. And I left Craven due to some different health things, and but I fell in love with the breed of Mals and just having fun training. And so Freddy is imported from London, and then he was at Global Canine Protective Services out in Tennessee. And I was able to acquire him after that. And I started training him at the house, and I'm fortunate in the canine world where it becomes a world where you have all these people that want to help you, and all these trainers and handlers that help each other become better. And with the help of them, we just started working with him, and he just became very good at what he does. And initially it was just for me. I had the hope of working him, and thankfully the opportunity came to where they were looking for the possibility of a canine here, and where me and him were able to come down and be able to fill that position.
Well, I'm glad it worked out, but I don't know that I realized he came from London and then another service job. So how old is Freddy?
So he's 2.5.
Okay, so still pretty young.
Yeah, he was imported when he was about 6 months old. And the way it was explained to me, they have a selection process when they're young, where they go through courage tests over there, and so they take a litter and they basically want to see if the dog's gonna be scared, and if the dog stands up to the courage test, they'll push him through, and then they start training him from there. And he was initially trained as a sporting dog through Global Canine, and then what we did is we took him and did his apprehension work, his narcotics work, his tracking, and built upon that in the law enforcement realm of it.
So with most people service dogs. They don't really interact with them like a pet, right? It's a business relationship. So does Freddy sleep in your bed?
He does.
Okay, all right.
He's very fond of like snuggling up with my wife. Not so much me at the house. I think it's because me and him have a very interesting dynamic between the two of us. When I first got him, he was interesting. He was not as social as what he is now, and so it took some socializing between me and him, some different tactics to become as close as what we are. But in that, I'm the alpha. So I have to be. He has to know that. So when we're at the house and his collars come off and he gets to just be a dog, he tends to gravitate more towards my wife and daughter at that point. Where he's still mine and loves on me, but not like them. Like it's like if he can choose between mama and me, he's going to mama.
So real quick, tell us about that journey, because you said something earlier that like sounded crazy to me. So you fed Freddy by hand, not with a bowl.
I did, yeah.
And y'all had a little bit of a rocky start in
day
bonding.
One.
So tell me, like real quick, that was
day one. I knew that we were meant for each other, and because the dog, the Mal I had previously, he was a very good dog. He had a different type of drive, work drive, and not the way Freddy is. But day one, Freddy bit me in my face. And thankfully, the way he bit me, it follows the line of my face. So you can't see it. There's a little scar right here, and then I have a puncture wound right there.
Dang, so he was like full open.
It was. When you become a handler and you're training dogs, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, it's not if, right? It's
when you're going to get bit. It was just,
I've heard that.
And it's always the handler's fault. I mean, it was my fault, and I got close to him and didn't realize like how much ground he could cover and how fast he could cover it, and just popped me right in the face. And we were just attached at that point. But so in developing our relationship, he only interacted with me. No dogs, no other people, for the first 10 days. He didn't even see another person. And the only way that he seen food is if it was out of my hand. But that was for the first probably year and a half of his life. He had never.
Year and a half.
Yeah. He had never, didn't see a bowl or anything like that. If he was food driven, so the tasks that we wanted him to complete, if he completed that task, you pay him. But that's how he got food. So you had how much food you would give him in a day, sit, pay, lay down, pay. And that's how we ended up developing him in the other things that we do as well. When you're doing tracking, you're laying out food, and they're just following that food line, creating the game, just letting him know this is what you have to do in order to get that food. And that's how we imprint him on narcotics, where it's like, okay, put your nose on the odor, pay him with food. And so for the first year and a half, he had never seen a bowl. But then gradually, with working with him, he became more toy-driven. Like I have certain toys that I use for different tasks that he would complete. And he started to not respond to the food and didn't care about it. He wanted the game. He wanted to play. Because of that was their interaction with me. When we have tugs and then you're playing the tug of war and everything, it was the energy that I had with him, and I just fed off of his energy because he's literally 100% of the time. So it was fun for me just to be able to play with him, and the game just became more fun to him in that. So now he's very toy-driven. He doesn't care about food. So he does see food like you're a normal dog now. Like he gets fed in the morning, gets fed in the evening, but he doesn't see toys.
And he gets the luxury of a bowl now.
He does. He gets the luxury of a bowl. It's easier. And in a selfish side of things, it's easier for me as a handler when now you do certain things that we'll still use food for. But as far as a handler, when you're worried about this is when he's going to eat, it's a constant work all day. And I mean, he's still at work all day, but it's easier when you're paying him with a toy.
I can imagine like in that phase too, he's a growing dog, and you're trying to feed him through the process. You got to make sure he's still getting enough every day to be healthy.
Oh, absolutely.
Which, speaking of that, people always want to know how much a dog eats. And Freddy's a decent sized dog. What did you tell me, like 58, 60 pounds?
58 pounds.
58 pounds.
Yep.
He's like a lean machine at 58 pounds. So what does he eat? How much you feed him a day, you said?
He eats 4 cups of food a day.
Okay.
And we'll tailor that throughout, if he gets a little bit heavier or if he gets a little bit leaner, we could tailor that food, which actually makes it easier as far as how he eats. With eating twice a day, we can feed him a little bit more. If he starts to lean down, it all depends on how active he is. Now, he runs with me a lot. I try to keep his endurance up because it helps him in the task that he's doing. I don't want him to get gassed out real fast, and then it becomes more difficult for him to complete the task that we want, especially if we get on a long track where in the heat of the summer, if you're tracking somebody for a mile, I mean, that's hard for me, and it's going to be hard for him too. So I want to keep his endurance up.
That's a great point, man, because all you folks at home that are like, hey, your dogs are too lean at the city of Havelock, right? They're just too lean, right? There is a consideration for how much work they can do. When they get heavier, they can't do as much work, and they gas out on like a track. Or
and it can honestly, it can be more dangerous to them at that point, because if they get to be heavy, and we are on a long track, especially in the heat of the summer, you worry about them overheating so fast. With his size and his acclimation to endurance and heat and things like that, it's easier for him to not hit those points where it's a health risk for him.
It's calculated, scientific.
Very much so. Yeah.
And then, so everybody knows that we use our canine dogs for things like tracking and narcotics and all that sort of stuff. But the other thing I like to remind our citizens, the canine dog is the canine is such a fantastic part, is the public outreach part.
Oh,
and I want to talk about that with you real quick, and then we're going to talk about some Halloween tips and how people can be safe. But you seem to really enjoy that. I remember at July 4th, which was I really was first around you, and Rowan was out there a little bit, and then you're like, I'm calling my wife, I'm going to bring my dog out here too. And then your dog came out, and then Rowan was, and y'all were like swapping it back and forth, and so many citizens flocked to the City of Havelock Police tent the night of July 4th at the Freedom Festival just to interact a little bit. And you were cutting up because he'll jump up in your arms, you do all that stuff, which is cool. And then you did it again at National Night Out. You seem to have at least a penchant for that. Do you enjoy the public outreach part where you're interacting with people?
Yeah. That is a benefit of having a canine, is because people flock towards it. People want to see the dog, and they want to talk about it. And I tend to be a very outgoing person, so it's nice to be able to have that outlet to the public in the law enforcement aspect. I mean, everybody knows is like the dynamics when it comes to law enforcement is up and down and up and down. So to be able to build a bridge, to be able to talk to the community more, and because you can go from talking about just the canine aspect of it to them understanding more and the professional aspect of it, of what we deal with on a daily life and just in law enforcement in general.
Do you ever get jealous that people remember Freddy and don't remember you? I bet people are like, that officer with the dog, it's Freddy's officer, Freddy's guy, right? Not like you have Freddy, but Freddy has you.
He's easy to remember. No.
You ever get jealous?
No, not really. Maybe a little bit.
All right, so if you're going to trick or treat, October 31st, you can trick or treat any time in the evening that you want. We don't mandate anything, but we do set hours because citizens always ask, like, what are the established hours? So this year on October 31st, from 6 to 8 in the evening are kind of the hours that we say that are the trick or treating hours, and that just lets motorists know that kids are going to be out during those hours walking neighborhoods, and kind of lets people who want to turn their light on and be out in their yard know when kids are coming. You got any tips for people as they're wandering around neighborhoods and trick-or-treating? Just some basic, any ideas on ways to make sure our kids stay safe and that even parents are safe when they're walking around?
I know that the things that I go through with my daughter, which is, I'm a little bit more like self-aware in that now that I have a daughter and we go trick-or-treating, is especially making sure everything's well lit. I mean, you have a lot of costumes nowadays that are very dark, and which is great, but make sure that you have a flashlight with you so that way you can be seen by people, because you're trick-or-treating in neighborhoods, so there's always going to be vehicle traffic and things like that. So making sure that you're still being able to be seen regardless of what your costume is, and because some people don't want to risk that for if they want to go as Ghostface, the whole thing's black. Yeah. Which is great, but it's just we need to make sure that we're still able to be seen by the general public. Parents at checking candy, especially nowadays, we want to make sure that we're going through and making sure that they're in the original packaging that come from manufacturers, and that they're not in little bags and just the candy basically put in there. It's not that people have ill intent in that, but it's just we want to make sure that people are safe when they're doing things like that.
Sure. I always, the glow sticks, man, I would always convince my girls to put the glow sticks on.
Oh, the ones that go around the neck.
Yeah, and then when they're walking around with their flashlights the other way, they can still get seen and all that. Here's my biggest tip for folks, especially if you're the parent. You don't need to be on your phone while you're wandering the neighborhood trick-or-treating, right? Like, don't be an easy target for a car, right? Put your phone in your pocket. If you're going to take it out, take a picture. Do it in the yard of the person. Don't do it out in the street where you're distracted and a car might clip you. Because I know we all want to video and photo while we're walking around neighborhoods, but doing it on the street can be dangerous.
Yeah. I think knowing where you're going to, knowing the people, the neighborhoods that you're going to, being aware of what that neighborhood looks like before you're going there is a good thing. Possibly knowing the houses that you're going to, making sure that you're going to houses that have their light on, not just knocking on random doors that might not want to involve themselves in trick-or-treating, just in that in itself.
Now, let's say you live in a neighborhood where you don't usually walk around and do trick-or-treating, or you just want an extra opportunity to get some candy and have a fun time. We also have our trunk or treat event that the city does every year, and it's October 24th, and it starts at 5 p.m. out at our Havelock Rec Center. Usually the police are out there. I don't know if you and Freddy will be out there that day or not, but usually the police are out there wandering around talking to people. We've even had a few that decorate their cars, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. I believe that me and him will be there.
Cool. And then we've got local businesses will come out there and set up. They do all kinds of decorating and costumes and all that for people to come out and trick-or-treat in a safe parking lot where there will be no traffic. That'll be October 25th. Any parting words, Jason, from your... Man, Freddy has just decided we're staying all afternoon. He has chilled out.
I'm fine with this.
I know, right?
He's so much go, 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 go. So it's not... Yeah, we were talking about you.
Yeah, he's like, wait a minute. Y'all talking about me? That black mask popped up. He said, time to go. Well, man, thank you for coming. Freddie, thank you. You were fantastic. Officer Brown, you're always a pleasure, man. We appreciate what you do with both the K9 and keeping our community safe and interacting with our citizens.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you for being here today. Y'all, if you see Officer Brown or Freddie in town, please say hello. He loves that. Freddie loves to say hello, even if it's from a safe distance. All right. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you.